Joining me right now is Florida Congressman Cory Mills. He is a member of the House Armed Services and Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks very much for being here.
Good to see you.
Your reaction to all of this ahead of dueling trips, President Trump and President Biden going to the border on Thursday.
Well, President Trump's exactly right. You know, whenever he was in office in the previous administration, we had great policies like Remain in Mexico and our borders secure. Under Joe Biden, we have seen nearly 8 million criminal migrants who have come across our borders, 1.8% who are known gotaways. We have now approaching 400 or 500 people between our northern and southern borders who are on known terrorist watch lists. And Maria, you also have to look at what the cartel revenues have. In 2018, you had cartel revenues at approximately $500 million a year. Fast forward to just 2021, and you were looking at almost $13 billion, of which you had about 40% in human and sex and child trafficking. And so you're seeing where with the gross abuse of fentanyl, with the sex trafficking that's going on, with the criminal migrants who are coming over, where Venezuela and some of the others in South America are just dumping their prisons. They are coming to America, threatening Americans, and also killing Americans. This is completely preventable, Maria. We had H.R. 2, Secure the Border Act, over a year ago that Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell has refused to put on the floor. But Joe Biden himself is responsible for not only removing the Remain in Mexico policy, but he could right now, under the executive unilateral authority, utilize Section 212F that would allow him to secure the border right this minute. The reality is they just don't want to do their job, Maria.
What kind of role is the Chinese Communist Party playing in all of this? I've been told that the CCP is working with the Mexican cartels and they're setting up businesses in America so that they can have a front for human trafficking. One source told me last week that he thinks that within the next 2 years, human trafficking in America will be as prevalent as fentanyl is today because of these businesses that the CCP and the Mexican cartels are setting up. Because when they come here, when illegals come here, they have to pay the Mexican cartels. And if they don't pay up at the border, they're going to have to send money back once they're here, right?
Well, that's exactly right. And you also have mainland Chinese who have set up in the Darien Gap, where there had been intelligence operations that had run that actually stopped from certain pill presses from being able to get in there for more fentanyl that's coming across. So they're not only utilizing them as a mule to come here that's killing 70 to 100,000 Americans a year, but like you said, they're creating this as a business and revenue stream, whether it is being paid on the way there or getting to America, where these criminal migrants are essentially getting these prepaid cards. Those prepaid cards are then going back into these CCP and these cartels. And so we literally are having taxpayers paying in to these criminal organizations, as well as for the CCP, on the back of what could be closed tomorrow with a simple border shut.
Just stunning. Meanwhile, I want to get your take on the business at hand in the House and Senate. President Biden is meeting with congressional leaders today at the White House, expected to discuss the Ukraine funding, the government shutdown deadline, which is coming up this Friday, the first one. Texas Congressman Chip Roy is now claiming that the Republicans have, quote, no plan to fight and will increase spending. He's charging that the Republicans plan to give $30 billion additional to Pelosi's 2023 omnibus and make spending side deals with President Biden and the the progressive Democrats in Congress. So, Congressman, what are you thinking ahead of this deadline Friday and the following week, March 8th, where a lot of people expect either another continuing resolution, more of Nancy Pelosi's budget, or a government shutdown?
Well, look, I respect my colleague Chip Roy very much, but there was a plan. There is a plan. It's just not having the moral and political courage to follow through on it. You know, I have voted against every single CR, and back in January of 23, we were supposed to be putting 12 single-point appropriation bills with the necessary reforms, cut, and economic growth that Jody Arrington, Chairman Arrington of the Budget Committee, had put forward. The reality is that we can't get Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell to take up most of the appropriation bills that could fund about 70 to 80% of our overall government, things like SFOPs, DOD, MILCON, VA. And so the idea for me is that if we can't continue to put pressure on the Senate to take these bills up, the American people have to accept the fact that they will see a shutdown. We cannot continue to go ahead and look at the post-COVID era spending, which is a 40% increase. If we went back to 2019 and we did a 3.5% adjusted rate, we should be somewhere around 1.477 trillion a year in spending. Our FRA, which I voted against, I wanted to go back to 1.471 spending, was 1.56. We're now looking at over $2 trillion with these continuing resolutions that do the Pelosi-level spending. And I think right now, knowing that the American people's biggest priorities is the inflationary costs rising faster than minimum wage and the open borders with millions of migrant criminals coming across, that we have to be prepared to, I say, one of two things: shut the border or shut down the government. We have to be able to either do our jobs, and we have to be able to stand our ground, because this idea of funding Ukraine or funding other nations before we're going to fund our own is absolute nonsense. And we saw that with Chuck Schumer, who just went to Ukraine, not to our southern border.
Well, I mean, how do you keep Joe Biden to his promises? I mean, isn't he supposed to provide a budget every year? Have you seen his budget for the forward year yet?
Well, no one has seen the budget, and that's the whole thing, because remember, even when the former Speaker Kevin McCarthy was in office, he refused for up to almost 8 months to even have a meeting with the Republican conference.
How do you manage the government if you don't even have a budget?
This is 100% on Joe Biden.
Yeah, but you don't even have a budget blueprint that he's putting forth. It's just, I don't know how you could hold him to account to keep to these spending levels. We're just going to see another continuing resolution.
We put a $1.56 trillion budget together, Maria, and that's the whole problem. The Republican Party continues to put forward a budget, and then we fail to be able to deliver it because the Republicans and the Democrats are not able to pass single-point appropriation bills to be able to send to the Senate. And then when they do pass, the Senate refuses to take them up on the floor.
Well, the president's spending more money with this forgiveness of student loans. That's all inflationary.
Unconstitutional.
Even though the Supreme Court ruled it unconstitutional. You're right. Congressman, thank you. We'll be watching. Cory Mills joining us this morning.
Thank you, Maria.